Well, hello everybody. How you doing today? Welcome back to another episode of Jedi Granville Productions. I am Jedi Granville, or as many people might call me, Sexual Chocolate. I don't know why, but it could be a many iterations of that.
From now on, that's what I'm calling you, man.
Right. But like I say, hold up a second. I think we got that's something. Hold up, maybe. Okay, I see what it is. Okay.
Let me exit.
Yeah, okay.
There's two of them?
You say it's like two of them? Okay, hold up. Don't worry.
There we go. That's better.
Yes. Slight glitch, but we're okay.
Oh, thank God.
And
Now there are two of them.
Yes. All right. Like I say, this is what happens when you go live. Everything, it's an adventure. But no, this is just a special episode of Takasasu Corner where we're going to be discussing something that, me personally, as a fanboy or just a fan in general who just loves stuff like this and just geeks out on certain things like this. And it's basically going to be talking about what is your favorite monster roar. Your top, I said top 10 monster sound effects, but basically it's just roars in general through the times of any iteration from movies, televisions, even games. And if it's something that you particularly like, that's what you are personally involved with, that you're invested in, saying like when you hear it, it's like, wow, I love that sound. I love how I love how this creature sounds. Like all these things come into play. And it's my mind, my brain that's just like thinks these things up. And I'm just like, what the hell am I thinking about? But that's me. I'm just an eccentric and I always will be. So thankfully, I got a couple of people here on this panel who are about to join me on this incredible ride of madness, but hopefully it's fun for you guys. So to my left here, I got a good friend of mine who I met at G-Fest 2016, Mr. Mark Justice. Mark Justice. I'm trying to say your name. From Monty. Yes, Monty.
Put some respect on that name.
I know, right? Yes.
And justice for all.
Mark Justice. He is Justice of the Kaiju world. But where are you from, Justice? Your VO channel, your VO channel and everything. It's called.
Well, I've got two podcasts. I do Heavy Metal Horror and Unsane Radio.
Okay,
Heavy Metal Horror, we talk metal and interview rock stars and talk horror movies. And then Unsane Radio is popular and unpopular culture. So movies, TV, all kinds of crazy stuff, cartoons, just all kinds of fun stuff.
All right. See, it's like I say, an older geek just like me, and that's how you need. You need season like individual. And to his left of him, or right, however you want to say it, Mr. Big Bad Wolf. How you doing, sir?
Doing all right. Having some pizza, so I'm doing great.
Okay, then. And below us is a very wise individual, wise for beyond his years. We call him the Professor. But it's Mr. Daniel Miller from Dan Filming. And how you doing today, sir?
I'm doing fine. Thank you, Mr. Ross. Good evening, gentlemen.
Well, that's my government name. Call me by my YouTube channel handle. I'm just joking. I'm just joking. I mean, I can say, look, on here, you can call me Ross, you can call me Walter, you can call me Sexual Chocolate. That's fine. But
you used my government name, so I figured it was fine.
Okay. It's like I say, I'm just messing with you now. I'm just kidding with you. But to the bottom there, Mr. Jake Hall from Kaiju Enigma. How are you doing today, sir?
Not too bad. I'm enjoying. Gonna be fun to do this.
Okay, well look, I'm glad that you got on because trust me, I was saying like, well, he wanted to be on here. It's like he's not being able to get on, so I don't know what's going on. But hey,
yeah, technology, you gotta love it.
Exactly, technology sucks. And just to give a shout out here, Mr. Kevin Lambert, he was going to join us, but hey, life intervenes, and he just said hello to all you incredible gentlemen here. So hey, how you doing, Kevin? All right, so to get this ball rolling, we're gonna do, as I say, we're gonna start from number 10 to number 1, and it's like I say, we're just gonna go through the motions and we'll see how it goes from there. But to kind of get it kind of rolling, we're gonna start. I'm gonna do a little unorthodox move here. I'm gonna start with Mr. Jake Hall. And Jake, what is your number 10 favorite monster roar, sir?
Oh, this may come to a surprise, but my number 10, believe it or not, is a roar that has been used, I want to say 3 times in 3 different films.
Okay.
And it is the roar from King Kong, the 1976 version.
Wow. Okay.
Yes, because that roar was used not only for King Kong, it was somewhat used for the shark in Jaws of Revenge.
Yes.
And also, it was the same roar that was somewhat used for Gamera the Brave, for Gamera, in a way.
I remember that. Yeah.
Because Gamera didn't have his iconic roar.
Mm-hmm.
But that is my number 10. It's the roar that was used by King Kong in 1976. That one is my number 10 because I've heard that roar so many times that it was just like, it's not too bad. So that's my number 10.
Well, it's gonna be a surprise because that's an interesting thing that you picked that out and didn't think someone picked that one out. But hey, you know what? You'll see when we get there. But moving on, we're going to Mr. Professor here. What is your number 10, sir?
All right, at number 10, we are taking a look at the 90s cult classic action sci-fi thriller. It is the Arachnid Warriors from Starship Troopers.
Okay.
All right.
I can actually see that. Yeah, that's actually pretty good sound effect of
especially that shrilling shriek that the warriors make the moment that they just charge at you and just rip you to pieces, or when you just start blowing them to pieces.
Yeah, and the funny thing is about those things, billions of them. Maybe it looked like ants when they're all cluttered together, and then it's like, well, all they're thinking about is like, hey, saying hi to you and then dismembering you. It's like that's the fun of it, you know. I like that. Yeah, but that's a good sound effect. See, I didn't even think about that one. I should say with my list, I was kind of trying to draw out others in which I say are not just familiars, but it's like what other ones that stand out the most. But that's actually a pretty good one. I hadn't thought about that one. That's pretty good. All right. Well, Big Bad, what's your number 10, sir?
So number 10, we were going to go with a classic FromSoft PlayStation exclusive game, Bloodborne, and it is the Cleric Beast. Because it has that, it's a simple sound, but it's so effective. It's that trilling shriek you hear when you're traveling through Yharnam, which is the first area. You hear that, it's like, I can't mimic that, unfortunately, but it's like this chilling, very high-pitched shriek. It's almost like a mixture between a bull elk and a adult pig squealing, all combined into a shrilling shriek. Because it just gives you such chills down your bones, and when you hear more on the lore of the Cleric Beast, it adds more to that. As it sounds like those shrieks have like a dialogue, almost like they're calling for help, because originally they were clerics that tried to defend the churches from these beasts, but unfortunately they became beasts themselves. And it's like this monstrous werewolf, wendigo, elk-like beast.
And how old is this sound effect, just out of curiosity?
So this came in the game Bloodborne, so I would say probably about a decade old.
Okay. From then, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah, because this came out as a PlayStation exclusive for PS4, so it would have been 2015 to 2017 when that game came out.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, Mr. Justice for the kaiju fans out there.
That's right.
What is your number 10, sir?
Well, I was focusing mostly on kaiju. I didn't know we could do all kinds of monsters, but that's cool. That's all right.
Right.
I'm excited to hear everyone's picks. So I'm excited to like be learning about these things. That's great.
Mhm.
My number 10 is Megalon.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. I just, he's got some interesting sounds, kind of not quite robotic, but kind of mimicking kind of the big insect sound, that kind of chirping kind of sound that he makes. So it seems to fit because, the thing with the Toho, a lot of the monsters kind of sound the same,
Yeah.
Yeah. So Megalon, I think it's a fun monster, and he's got that kind of fun, kind of borrowing a little bit from other monsters, but yeah, Megalon's fun.
Okay, cool. Well, for me, my number 10 is and like I said before, it's a mixed bag, but and I should say it's mostly because usually they're more familiar, but my number 10 is Gigan. I mean, Gigan, let's be honest, I mean, he, like so many others, started out with the first Godzilla film that I ever watched. So I think that's probably why he's on the list at number 10. I mean, he's, believe it or not, he seemed like he should be higher up, but it's like, nah, he's actually more below than you think it is. And he's, he does pretty well for what he is. And I just like his sound effect. And it just stands out like so many of the other ones that's on this list. And I'm pretty sure with y'all's, it's going to stand out pretty well too. And what we got here, Mr. Kevin Lambert. Oh, wow. Okay. You know what? That's a good one. Yeah. That is a good one. That's actually kind of an underrated short too. That how on Fog. I don't know if you've seen that, Mark. That particular short.
No, I'm aware of it. I've just not seen it.
Okay. If you ever watch it, it's pretty decent.
Check it out.
Go ahead.
Okay. Cool.
After the stream's ended, go and check it out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Check it out and see what's. All right. So, like I say, again, doing something unorthodox. I'm just having fun with this. I'm going to go back to Mr. Justice, and now we're going to go from you to down below. So,
number 9.
Yes. What's your number 9?
Number 9 is the Hedorah. Hedorah sounds like he's gargling garbage. He's got that kind of the warbling, and I like the kind of sludgy sounds that he makes, which kind of fit his sludge makeup. And while it's just kind of a slow-paced movie, I do like how gloomy it looks. I love, and then Hedorah is just a really great villain because he's just so different in the kaiju universe. So yeah, Hedorah's got some fun sounds. Even makes sounds when he's flying, So, but I like the final form better. That kind of low warbly, kind of gurgly sounds that he makes.
Yeah.
I like that. That's a good point.
Every time I hear Hedorah, now I can think of his Chewbacca sounds. Because I heard gurgling.
Yeah. Speaking of Hedorah, the one sound effect I do like is when he's inhaling all the fumes from the factory. It's just this very disembodied, sickly breathing in sound. Which is
it's
just
like he's getting high or something. It's like, oh, I hear. That's a pretty good point. Yeah.
I'm doing my Hedorah right now.
You're right. That's why I'm looking at that now. He's like, you're doing a sound.
Yeah, that's it. Suck in all that pollution.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right. Someone's got to.
Someone's got to imitate that.
Take it all in.
That's right. That's right.
Take it
Thank
all
you.
in.
That's pretty good though. I like that. Well, John.
Yes, Mr. Jedi.
I'm sorry.
Thank you for using my government name.
Oh God.
Now they're on to us. Oh no.
I'm trying to compose myself here. That's
the second time, Walter. 3 strikes and we're screwed.
Okay. All right. Okay. What is your number 9?
Number 9, I'll have to go with the Wendigo from the horror film Antlers.
Oh yes. Okay.
The final reveal to the monster at the finale of the film, we get to see the was almost like a full reveal of the Wendigo without fully showing the creature. But we get this nice combination. Its roar is like a mixture between a growl and a shriek. So it's like a combination. It seems like a werewolf sound effect mixed with a couple of shriekings mixed in there, and it made it sound very guttural because the transformation this individual went through from being a human to feral to the Wendigo. I think it was to help show like how brutal the transformation was, because it kind of sounded like how when he said doors were kind of sound like he's gurgling up trash. It's the same with the Wendigo. It kind of sounds like it's gurgling. It's kind of gurgling up residue blood from the transformation.
Okay.
Because the beast was kind of like inside this man and eventually broke out of him because part of that man's face is literally on the Wendigo itself.
Okay. Nice. All right then. Well, Professor, what is your number 9, sir?
My number 9 would have to be the shrieking effect of the giant snake from the original Anaconda.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
I like that. That's
in reality, snakes don't have that kind of vocal range. Yet you see this really intricately made animatronic prop, which props to the studio who made it really outdone themselves.
right.
When it starts this screaming, it's like you don't want to listen to it, but you just can't help but listen to it. And at the same time, you want to look away from it, but you just can't. When the moment it starts making that shrieking sound, which is just unsettling but fantastic at the same time.
And such a great, silly movie, you know?
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, I mean,
And
the
of
scene at
course-
the end where he like spits out John Voight, you know, or
Yeah.
like swallows him. Like, oh, come on, you know, that's fantastic.
I mean,
and
for a
just manages to
PG-13
get that
film,
wink
that's
before he
yeah.
died.
Yeah,
right.
And then what made it worse is see John look as he's thrown up, look at everyone and just wink at them.
yeah, it's like,
Yeah.
oh, it's like a wink to the audience, you know, like, okay, we get it, we get it.
Yeah.
Yes. What is hold up? Say someone saying here. It's number.
Orphan.
Well, okay. Okay. Yeah, I can see that. Actually, I can see that. Actually, I don't know why I didn't think about that one, but I mean, no, that didn't. That's why I say it doesn't stick. I mean, it has to be something that sticks out more for you as an individual than just everyone, because it's not supposed to be about the mass. It's supposed to be about your personal preference. So, but Mr. Hall, the Enigma himself, what is your number 9?
My number 9 is the whale sound that Iris makes in Gamera 3.
Okay.
I love how they just kind of use a whale call and just kind of tweaked it just a little bit. And it's just like, it's soothing, but yet it's like, this creature's supposed to be terrifying, but yet it has this unique whale call. So that is my number 9.
And isn't it interesting that I don't know if anyone remembers when Biolante first appears, you hear this kind of very, majestic kind of whale sound coming from him. You know, that wailing is like, it's supposed to be horrific looking, but it's like it's a female entity.
There's some beauty within it.
That's exactly like a woman's supposed to be. Very beautiful.
The initial form is not too frightening. It's
that right.
More startling. Oh my God, it's a big flower. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Then the other form becomes much more terrifying. Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, now we see the dark side of a female, which is kind of a, we won't get into that, but that's too clever. Anyway, my number 9 is it's a classic, and that's Baragon. Baragon from, Frankenstein Conquers the World.
Not Barugon. That's
not Barugon. No,
okay,
I mean,
I just want to make sure. Right.
Barugon. Now that's kind of funny because I thought about Barugon, but Barugon's sound, it's not as memorable to me as Baragon.
Right.
And 3 monsters have used Baragon's roar. Gorsaurus, Baragon himself, but also Varan.
That's
which
true.
is who used it first, by the way.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is no more than a different kind of amped up version or some kind of version of Godzilla's original roar from '54. So that's kind of the thing. But going back to, like I say, doing this again. Starting with Mr. Did I get mine already? Yeah, I get mine already.
Yeah, you gave yours.
I'm thinking. I'm getting to realize I'm getting that old man's syndrome or something. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, no, but just hang on there, Jake. We're like I say, we're doing pretty good. I like this. And
Careful, he may say bad insurance.
Wait a minute.
Live without a net.
And
absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes, but going back to Mr. Justice, what is we're at number 8 now. So what is primarily what is your number 8, sir?
My number 8 is actually a duo because you can't have one without the other. I've got Sanda and Gyra, the gargantuans. Now, Gyra is more terrifying with that kind of chaw sound, especially when he runs on the airport, and he's eating people. That movie has traumatized me. I mean, that was the first time as a kid I remember seeing that scene where he spits out the, and I thought he was spitting out her hair or something. And as a kid, I couldn't tell what it was. It was such a quick cut. But that was the first time I realized, oh my God, he's crunching that woman. I imagine her bones and all of her organs. I'm like, oh, and I was 4 or 5, and I finally, oh wow, and it was horrific. So it has scarred me. But the gargantuas, they're great fun. I still love them. Gyra still terrifies me to this day, and I think it's a great roar.
Hold up, Ron always gets screwed. I know he really does. That's the thing.
Unfortunately, Ron trying to sue wouldn't work because Toho pretty much owns him.
Yeah, they figure they can probably use it for anything. Why not?
Even Subaraya Productions used him for various Ultra Kaiju throughout the Ultraman series.
He did.
Yeah.
Oh no, I got the joke.
Oh, didn't?
Yeah, I got it.
He got the joke. Trust me, he got the joke very well. Okay, Mr. Big Bad, and I'm calling you Big Bad because I don't want the wolf to come out and attack me. What's your number 8, sir?
I'll have to give it to the Xenomorph. Because hearing the Xenomorph for the first time make that huge shrieking
Mm.
sound, it would pretty much chilled audiences for the first time, especially during the reveal of the Xenomorph. When we first get the facial reveal of the Xenomorph for the first time in the Alien film.
Okay, I'm assuming the original
full-grown size or the tiny chest burster. You want the full-grown?
The full-grown one.
Okay, that hissing kind of sound where he's walking. It's kind of a hissing sound.
Yeah, it's like as soon as Dallas. It was like when they're trying to warn Dallas is heading his way. As soon as he turns in, that first jump scare you get.
Yeah, that's a good jump scare. That's in the special or the director's cut. You get that scene with Dallas.
I think it is. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Then that would probably explain because I saw that on Hulu.
Yeah.
Okay.
But just hearing that thing hiss for the first time, it just sends an incredible chill down your spine.
Yeah, because it's probably something you never heard, and it's like, oh, it's like ice in your veins, almost kind of like sounding.
Mm-hmm.
But Professor, what is your number 8, sir?
My number 8, turning to the world of video games, it is the Flood from Halo, specifically the infected forms from Halo 3. Now, the part I'm talking about is where you first encounter the Flood after the Covenant ship crashes in New Mombasa. Master Chief and the Arbiter have to go back into the ruins to find the crashed Flood ship and overload the engine core, but already infected Marines and Covenant alike are just storming the grounds, and there's this squelching, bone-breaking, disembodied roaring going on among these fleshy biomass contaminated things with this fungus-like parasite, and it's just brilliant sound design. Even from a body horror perspective, it's still very unnerving.
Okay, nice. Boy, it's funny how we can reach deep inside ourselves and pick out the most scary thing, but it's like, wow, I'm fascinated by that. I don't know why.
And also, since you're on the Flood, I'll just quickly mention the Grave Mind, because whenever it speaks, it's this very low, grounding, and deeply commanding, but also philosophical voice. But there are also disembodied groans and heartbroken screams embedded within each vocal, which just makes it more terrifying, giving the idea this is multiple beings trapped within one entity.
Because I was going to ask, was there like more humanistic sounds in there, kind of mixed up? Because I mean, that would make it even more horrific. Get that in there. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Mr. Enigma, what's your number 8, sir?
Ooh, my number 8 will have to go to the Mother Legion from Gamera 2. When it's first introduced and you hear that roar, I was like, ooh, I like how they did, and that little click at the end. It was just like, it was a very unique roar, and you have the little soldier legions like little talking minions going. But yeah, that's my number 8.
How'd that go again?
Please, Jake, repeat it.
I love reproducing the roars. No, it's awesome.
He's like, he did.
Enigma, you're right on, man. You're right on, Enigma.
Oh shit!
He got.
Look at the Enigma.
Look, you're a victim of your own success, Enigma. That's all. That's pretty much what it is. Okay. Well, for me, number 8, and this has become a classic in the genre of films. The T-Rex roar from the original Jurassic Park. That will forever be one of my favorites of just incredible sound effects. I mean, you got to understand now, when I first heard this, it almost reminded me of Godzilla's roar, which I thought was the way they made this roar, which was taking a baby elephant and augmented it to this roar that we hear in the movie. And her roar is so iconic. It just stands out when you hear it's like, "Run!" You know, it's like, oh my God, you know, it's like, and it kind of goes back to what I said before. It's a pissed off female. It's like, you don't want to mess with her. So it's like, that's pretty much what it boils down to.
I like that trumpety quality to it.
That's
not just a throaty, scratchy. And there are layers of sound in there that kind of all go to build to that. And I like that kind of trumpety quality to it. Yeah, because that is a terrifying roar, especially if you saw it in the theater. You know, in the theater, you could see it with that. You know,
I mean, it pretty much caused your entire chest to vibrate.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Because like I say, as Mark said, it's like if you're in the theater, it really affects you really hard. It's like, whoa, you know, it's like it's taking you back, you know, with that. But and what's Oven got here? What? Okay, you say Imhotep. Okay.
I'm gonna guess it's from the original Mummy film.
Okay, that's what I was gonna say. It had to be from that one. Yes. Okay.
Isn't it the Brendan Fraser one?
The Brendan
Fraser.
Yeah, not the Boris Karloff, because he just talks. I'm Death Bay. So it's not terrifying, but you know,
not that, you know, sinister, but and you got to remember, this was 90s, and like I say, we got to up the ante with our, you know, dealing with sound and how you sound like, you know. He's like say, oh yeah, pretty much. But carrying on, we're still in the middle, and where we're at here. What?
Did we finish round 8?
We're about to get now. We're done with 8. No, somebody was saying Imhotep.
Yep.
Yeah, right.
Oh, look, Jake's possessed. I think you have
right.
He's a sleeper.
The Enigma will give us great, you know, mimics there. I like that.
I think the scariest mummy, though, I know we're sidetracked a touch, but is the Hammer film, Karas. Especially in the second of the Mummy movies, because you can hear the mummy, you know, at the top of a stair. You see this backlit and it's foggy. It's really scary. Then you hear this kind of a throaty roar, you know, like just a quiet, like he's got bronchitis and he's trying to breathe, but it's terrifying nonetheless because it sounds so sinister, you know. So yeah.
Okay, then. Shoot, that's kind of interesting too. I like that. Well, going on to, like I said, we're done with 8. Now we're on to number 7. So I'm going to switch it up a little bit again. I'm going back to the Enigma himself, and give me your number 7, sir.
My number 7 is the Predator from the original when he takes off the mask and he goes, "You one ugly motherfucker," and just lets out that roar.
The Predator sounds like Chewbacca.
Well, it's the best I could do, unfortunately.
No,
I just give you crap.
I think you should start with the Aurora Enigma and let us guess. See if we can figure it out, because that was really good.
That was really good.
Yeah. I'm playing right along. I'm like, yeah, that's it.
But yeah, that when I heard that roar, even though you could hear him with the mask, like when he's healing himself or adding those equipments, and he lets out that real shriek. It's when he takes off the mask and looks at Arnold, and that's when he lets out that roar.
Mm-hmm.
Classic.
That pretty much let you know it was go time.
It's like, you just called me like this kind of. It's like, okay, now it's about the dinner time here.
It's like gloves are off. Gloves are off. It's fucking serious now.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's time. Okay, well, Professor, what is your number 7, sir?
Surprisingly, just by pure coincidence, it's also the Predator. Not just from the roar from the original 1987 film, but also the roar from the second Predator when, after he's got his hand sliced off by Danny Glover, he starts repeating himself. Then you get that painfully aggressive shriek in the apartment. It's like, and it just trails off into that animalistic echo. What I also like about the Predator sound design itself is when it's out in the jungle just observing its prey, all that you hear is just those series of clicks and you have no idea where it's coming from.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like an echolocation,
Yeah, right.
Right.
It's
That's
what you.
Very nice.
I was kind of saying, what is he
like
frozen?
A demonic cat.
Oh wow, that was pretty. Yeah.
I mean, I don't have a proper microphone, but that's the best I can.
No, it was good.
That's what I was going to
get the run for your money, man.
Yeah,
I like how we're all grown men who can do these sound effects. That's what's the best part about this. We're all like, man, able to mimic these sounds. That's fantastic.
But see, that's the kind of cool thing. It's like exactly. I mean, this is one of these boyhood kind of things. You can imitate these sounds pretty well. I mean, may not be close, but if it's close enough, it's like, yes, this is how it's
right.
Maybe I like that. Okay, cool. All right. Well, Johnny boy, I'm just gonna say that for you for now. What's your number? Don't come at me. What's your number 7?
Don't tempt me with a good time.
Yeah.
Well, number 7, ironically, is also the Yautja.
Oh,
okay. 3 in a row.
I was gonna say 3 in a row.
But I'll go with I think I'll go with the Super Predators from Predators.
Okay.
Yeah, especially the Berserker.
Yeah, especially when Berserker finally lets loose on the Yautja that escaped with the help of Royce. Just the roar he makes as soon as he decapitates him, that roar of I literally defeated my mortal enemy.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice.
To add on to that, I also like the roar he made when he ripped out the convict's spine.
Yeah.
And then there's a wide shot and he just unleashes that tribal.
And it's like a modified version of that roar because there's a lot more clicking with that roar almost. Like there's some echo with it.
Yeah. That makes a really good roar.
It's very interesting. Like I say, the Predator roar is so iconic, and yet it's like, why is it not too many people who talk about it? I mean, they talk about the Yautja itself, but they don't really say much about his voice pattern.
It's pretty much the ultimate battle cry.
Yeah, but hey, that's how it goes with that. But Mr. Justice, what is your number 7, sir?
My number 7 is King Kong, mostly from King Kong versus Godzilla.
Okay.
But also King Kong Escapes and those he's got because there's a lot of different vocalizations. You know, from more of the quiet kind of subdued, kind of mournful sounds that he makes to more of the battle, you know, screams. Although it would have been good had he screamed when Godzilla blasted him right in the nads. You know, that would have been awesome. But, you know, he just kind of looks down. I'm like, oh, okay, man. But
drunk roadkill.
Hey, fried monkey nuts, as that saying goes. You know?
Yeah. So, but he's just got a lot.
Kong, with jokes on you, I don't got any.
but what you continue what you were saying though.
It's like a Mounds bar, right?
Yeah. Okay.
No nuts. Yes.
No nuts. Okay. Okay. My number 7. Believe it or not, and you're gonna love this, Professor, is Varan. Yeah. Varan is at my number 7 because let's be honest. Before I saw, well, I'm gonna say this is after I saw, like, say, so many. I think it's before or after I saw Baragon, and of course Megalon, because Megalon's kind of an iteration of Varan's voice too. But
yeah,
when I did see his film and see his and how he sounds, it's like this is a very unique creature, but he's never got the. I don't believe he's ever got the so-called praise that he. I mean, true enough, we praise him, we congratulate him. You know, we like him for what it is, but he's never come back, at least in a very modified version of himself in Destroy All Monsters, where he's sitting on the sidelines and
in a singular point.
What? I'm not good with that. That film.
Right. Destroy All Monsters was really his final appearance.
That shows. Yeah, that's all I'm not doing. Yeah, but I have to say it's very enduring knowing that roar is, because I actually read this, that it's actually a, like I say again, it's a modified version of the 54 version of Godzilla's roar. But you know, I guess at the time they were trying to do something, and that's the thing about those roars back from Japan. They're trying to make all these kaiju sound unique, and in my opinion, I think they did a good job for what they had. You know, I mean, with the technology they had at the time. Yeah. So, yeah, you know, it comes and goes. But on to number 6, and this will be the halfway point here. Enigma, what is your number 6 favorite monster roar?
Ooh. So my number 6 is going to go to Gauss from the Showa era.
Okay.
Nice.
Because it was a unique roar, especially when it shot its like sonic beam.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the roar that they use for the Guardians of the Universe, it was almost similar to the Showa, but they kind of deepened it a little bit.
Yeah,
it's more deepened. So, but yeah, my number 6 is gonna go to Gauss.
Okay.
I think that might have been my first Gamera movie. I remember as a kid because I love Gauss. I love that show at Gauss.
Gauss is badass.
Yeah. No, that's great. I wanted a Gauss toy, like a model with a head that would glow. I thought that would be an awesome figure. You know,
I'm surprised I'm surprised they don't have one like that.
Yeah,
you know?
I had a Gamera that had like the front legs and his head white, like, you know, from Jagger, you know, Monster X, and I thought, oh, that's cool. It was a little tiny X Plus figure, but I'm like, oh, give me a Gauss with a glowing head.
Right.
And the spinning thing. I want to make that like a Christmas ornament.
Turn a wheel. It's like, well, I don't see how they have made that a ride. It's like, get on the Gauss ride. You know, you're spinning around.
Yeah.
You spin me around that. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, right.
Wait, simple. Just put a little Christmas tree in the middle of it. Put a Santa hat on and have like a little snow dispenser on top of it. And there you go. Kaiju Christmas decoration.
Gauss, baby.
Yeah, there you go. Well, Professor, what is your number 6?
Right. Now, my number 6. This one comes from the movie that inspired John Carpenter's remake 30 years after the fact. It is The Thing from Another World.
Okay.
Actually, I can see that. Yes, because I've seen that film. That's a very unique sound.
I mean, you'd think it would sound like a generic take on the Frankenstein monster from the 30s, but it's actually a bit more disturbing than that. Because for context, Frankenstein, of course, he's just been his creation has been resurrected from the dead. He's stitched together body parts and organs. The Thing from Another World, it's a lot more dissonant by comparison when you hear the two side by side.
Okay. And knowing that that was 51, yeah, because it's like, especially when he's on fire, it's like you hear that disembodied roar, it's like, wow, this is
and it doesn't sound pained at all. It actually sounds a lot more furious that he's on fire.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's one of my favorite movies of all time. I think it's just one of the best science fiction movies ever made. The original Thing from Another World. The remake is also wonderful. But what I wanted to hear, and I love the way they described it, when they're listening to all the little pods that are finally growing with the blood, and they said it sounds like the wail of a newborn babe. Like, I wanted to hear that. Like, I'm envisioning this horrifying baby, screaming. So maybe it's probably better that we get to imagine it in our brains. But I always thought that they had really good sound effects,
I feel like the Thing from Another World doesn't give enough. I mean, it does, but I feel like it gets overshadowed by John Carpenter's version. I mean, not to say John Carpenter's is not good, but I still think we got to give love to that because that was the reason why he remade it. So it's like, you got to get kudos with that.
Also, love the opening soundtrack by Dmitry Tiomkin.
Yes, very good. And the sound, the music is a wonderful score, and then the credits, the way they kind of dissolve and open up, the melt away. That's just really, really good. Yeah, but that score is awesome.
Yes,
it's very ominous. Yeah.
Yes, it's very ominous. Okay, well, Big Bad, your number 6, sir, please.
My number 6 will be another video game one, and it comes from the Bethesda post-apocalyptic series Fallout. It will be the Deathclaw.
Excuse me.
Now, the Deathclaw is pretty much like a giant mutated chameleon with horns like a bull. But what makes it so they went simple and generic with it. They did like a lion's roar. They modified it to make it sound reptilic and guttural. So it's like a lot of the lion sounds, the growls, the roar, and everything. It pretty much is modified lion sounds, but they kind of twist it and make it sound more reptilic. But it's like when you walk in, because I think it's Fallout 3 when they're first introduced, and you go to this place called the Fallout Sanctuary. You go to the Deathclaw Sanctuary, and you're like, what the heck is this? And you walk in and see all these lion sounds, thinking you're going to encounter lions. So you see this giant mutated reptile with horns coming after you. You're like, holy! And you're trying to get the heck out of Dodge because you realize you're literally way above your level class.
Oh, wow.
And I think the way the Fallout show introduced them did a much better job. Especially when it showed the ghoul, especially when it showed how horrified the ghoul looked when he first recognized the eggs when they were in that New Vegas town. He was like, oh, we should probably get out of here. Because the girl looks, she goes, hey, look, chicken eggs. He's like, those aren't chicken eggs. And then you hear that Deathclaw ground, it literally just rips the door apart.
Okay.
And
I was going to ask, I've been wondering, do the shows do the video games justice when
this is like one of those instances to where video game to film adaptation actually works out. The show does do the video game a lot of justice. So the first season is a lot, hate to go off track, but the first season they definitely based off of Fallout 3. Second season they based off of New Vegas.
Okay. Well, Mr. Justice, what is your number 6, sir?
My number 6, we first get introduced to on Son of Godzilla. This is a giant praying mantis known as Kamacuras.
Okay.
Yeah, I was listening because I had to go back and remember like which animal did which, which monster did which. So I'm going back like, was this a Spiga or is this Kumanga or which one? And then I'm like, oh yeah, Kamacuras is pretty cool. Whereas like Spiga or Kumanga tend to have more of like kind of the same, just like kind of a repetitive singular sound. Kamacuras had different kind of vocalizations, and I guess that's what made it seem more real to me. Like there were intonations, but it also sounds very insect-like. It's not like doesn't stray too far from what this creature is, which is just a mutated praying mantis, but it's still really effective and really creepy. A good sound effect, and it's just a lot of fun.
Okay. Well, my number 6, and it was one that Jake had mentioned earlier, is the 76 version of King Kong. That roar, I don't know why that, because I think I'm trying to remember, it was it was after Godzilla when I first heard it and I saw it on television with my family, and that roar of his in 76 version is like, wow, it's very aggressive. But as Jake mentioned, you've actually heard this sound effect in various other films during that time, and it stands out pretty much, and it's like it's just a very aggressive, and I'm glad that it's used in here for him, because it's especially that moment where he's banging on trying to break through the wall of the doors that's holding him in. He's just saying, "Rah!" He's banging in on like very like, "Rah!" You're like, wow,
that's your sexual chocolate roar right there.
There you go.
That's knocking those doors down, man.
Knocking them down, and like I say, he's very aggressive, and that shows like he's very aggressive. It's like, I want this woman, let me out of here, So like that's I like how it's put on there.
Was it Professor you had mentioned? Was it the roar was also used?
No, that would be Jake.
Oh, no, Jake. Okay. Enigma. Was it Jaws: The Revenge? Right.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. It's kind of like what you hear in the movie Duel, with the demonic truck, and then you also hear it used in Jaws when Jaws is dying. So because Spielberg did both of those movies, so I kind of like how they use, and it was so subtly done. But if once you knew that was there, I'm like, oh yeah. Then you go back and listen to it. I'm like, oh yeah, that makes perfect sense. So I like that,
especially with Jaws, because it's like you don't think about it, but it's like, oh, I hear it, So
now I have an interesting bit of trivia about that roar, but the one I want to add on very quickly is the King Kong roar, which was used for the shark in Jaws: The Revenge. The first instance of that roar being used actually came from an episode of Tom and Jerry.
Really?
Yeah, when
you know that
Jerry is looking after the baby mouse, and Tom just smacks him with a fly swatter. And Jerry gets so mad, and he's like,
"Oh my God, nice! That's very well done, Jake." No, dude, I just remembered that cartoon. That's right, I remember that. God, I didn't realize that.
I don't remember seeing it, but now I want to. I have to go find this.
Remember that.
Yeah, because Tom turns yellow after hearing the roar. He's like,
yeah, Enigma, you'll have to like send me the name of that episode.
Oh man,
Tom dealt with so much throughout that show.
Oh my God, yes. But like I say, those, because I think I'm now you say that, I think that's a very older sound effect between that time, but that was back. Wow. About that.
That's great. I love the trivia. I love the kind of stuff we know, man. That's just that's awesome.
Well, this is why we call him the professor, because like I say, he's very knowledgeable.
That's fantastic. I love it. I
appreciate that. Well, sirs, gentlemen, we are halfway there. We're not done yet. We're
living on a prayer.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly. Yes. Yes, we definitely doing that. But now we're gonna say we're halfway there. We're halfway on the list, and hopefully the top 5 pretty much say like these are the ones that stand out the most. I mean, we've been doing pretty well as far as saying these stand out, but the top 5 should really say, yes, this is the ones that really say people like say you here. It's like I get excited so much, you know.
Yeah.
And I want to share something real quick too. This right here, this is a CD of the Toho sound effects going from 54 to 2004. And it's like I say, it has all the various kaiju sound effects, plus it has various sound effects of those ships flying, or when Rodan's flying, or even the blasters, the energy, but all those things in it. And I'm gonna tell you, this was worth the money that it's worth. I'll just say that.
Does it have the destruction sounds on there?
It has destruction sounds on there too.
Yes.
Is it called Howl? Because I had a one called Howl way back in the God, I want to say the 90s. Was it the 90s? Where that my friend had it, but I'm not sure how he got it. But I got it on tape, and it just had all the monster sounds, like up to that point.
Right.
First, up through the years of Godzilla stuff, but it didn't have all the sound effects and the special effects. That's really cool.
That's what, because that was a bonus to me. I mean, hearing the sound effects that you're so familiar with from the Toho library from the Showa era, I was like, and not just the Showa era, but the Heisei and the Millennia. It's like, oh wow, this is.
So now you can make your fan kaiju film and use all the appropriate sound effects.
There you go, but make it copyrighted, because it's like those sound effects are probably more expensive. Well, I don't know. I mean, music is probably more valuable, but then those sound effects are like, yeah, you touched them, you better let us know, because you're gonna.
Of course, you get credit where credit's due. I mean, you're not gonna be selling it and trying to make $1 million.
Yeah, exactly. That's
it's made of love.
But anyway, top 5, gentlemen. So I hope you're all ready, because this is where we really got to fasten in our seats and say, this is what makes us separates us from the boys to the men. So. Boys to men. Anyway, number. Okay, Mr. Justice.
All right, number 5.
Number 5, sir.
Number 5. He's one of the tiniest monsters in all of the kaiju universe, and he has a hard time blowing anything but smoke rings. It's Minya, or Manila, or however you want to say it, Minya.
Yes.
And I first encountered Minya probably in Godzilla's Revenge. That's probably the first time I remember seeing him as a kid. And I just love that story. I'm like, yeah, I want to be friends with Godzilla, things like that. But yeah, Minya just has these kind of these it is kind of that wah wah. He like literally wah wahs. He has these cry baby sounds because he's a little tiny baby. And then that kind of that exasperated, oonch oonch that he does. Yeah, they're just, he's just kind of this goofy, but I love him, and I love the Showa era the best. That kind of doughy, lumpy, like, what is this thing? Way better than the cutesy one that we get later on. But
the one that's high on whatever it's like
yeah. Yeah, he's just got some fun sounds,
Okay, cool. Well, Big Bad, what is your number 5, sir?
Number 5 will have to be one of the OG dragons from FromSoft's Dark Souls series. That's going to be Dark Eater Midir from the Ringed City DLC to Dark Souls 3.
Okay.
So it's very interesting how they did his roar, because it sounds very much like a kaiju, except it seems like his roar has like an echo of what his roar used to be within it.
Mm-hmm.
Almost like you're getting like an echo of who he used to be before he became what he is, because the story behind Dark Eater Midir is, the reason why they call him Dark Eater is because he was chosen by the gods to destroy the darkness, to fight the abyss. And unfortunately, the abyss overtaken him and made him what he is.
Okay.
But his roar, as soon as you hear him, because at one point you're walking across this bridge, and all of a sudden you hear his roar, you're like, you can tell what it is, because it's super gigantic, and it's pretty much been hinting about him all the way up. And so as soon as you see him and hear him, you're like, oh crap, because he's such a gigantic dragon compared to Black Dragon Calamity from Dark Souls 1.
Okay. I was about to think that you was going to say the ones from Game of Thrones, but I mean,
No.
Yeah.
I've never seen Game of Thrones.
Okay. Well, trust me, it's It's a ride. I'll just put it like that. I won't describe.
Trust me, I've heard about what happens in the show in the finale. So
Yeah, and the finale sucks too. But we won't go into all that.
But you digress.
I digress. Professor, what is your number 5, sir?
Right, number 5. It's one of my it's that one sound effect that always gets me to laugh every time I hear it. It's the dinosaurs. I just want to put in quotes. Dinosaurs from Irwin Allen's 1960s The Lost World. See why I say dinosaurs? I mean, look at this guy. Seriously?
Yeah.
Dinosaurs? Seriously?
Just iguanas and crocodiles with
bits
costumes
glued onto them, yes.
Yeah.
Now, there is one of the there is a scene in the movie, particularly with these two creatures here, where they have a fight. This guy, this crocodile, he literally sounds like a TIE fighter from Star Wars. Whenever he roars. And the thing is, he's not even roaring, he's just sitting there idling. He's like,
maybe that's where they got the sound from the TIE
coming through, and
fighters.
he's still sitting there like but no, I mean, it's just the visual absurdity of it, even though it's cruel now, but it's just so obscene. It's just like, how can you sit there watching this with a straight face? You just can't. You just can't.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but like I say, it does sound like it. But wasn't there something in the 60s, a film it was a fantasy where it was like a dragon or some kind of creature that sounded just like a TIE fighter almost, I don't know if I can't remember the film, but I mean, it sounded like a TIE fighter. I was like, what the fuck, it's like,
maybe that's the one. Maybe
that is the one. Yeah.
If you look on YouTube, the Lost World dinosaur fight, it shows that scene. Just check that out, and you'll see exactly what I mean.
I'll probably have to do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah.
Well, and
dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs. It's like, okay. Well, I mean,
dinosaurs.
Do that one more time.
Well, I just say one more time.
Dinosaur.
All right, there we go.
There aren't enough quotation marks in the world. We can put around the word.
Right. Okay, well, Jake, what is your number 5, sir?
My number 5 is actually a duo. It's 2, and that is going to be Gigan and King Ghidorah.
Okay.
Nice.
Because Godzilla vs. Gigan was my very first Godzilla film I ever watched, ever rented. And it's because of those two roars from those two creatures. Ghidorah with its like cackling, clicking sound, and then Gigan with its like, I guess, shrieking type sound that it's used throughout its career.
Yeah.
It stuck with me. So that is my number 5, Gigan and King Ghidorah.
All right.
Nice.
Well, for me, number 5, I have to give it to the queen of the kaiju, and y'all probably know what I'm talking about, Miss Mothra.
Copyright strike.
Yes. Yeah, he said copyright strike.
Yep.
Maybe you should let them sing it more too.
Okay. No.
Now, do you prefer the larval version?
No, I prefer. Well, that's a good question. I prefer. Well, that's a good.
Both make sounds.
I couldn't. You know what? I hadn't even thought about that. But for me, it was the moth version. I mean, the larva version I think does sound somewhat similar, but it's when she's in her full wing form. That's the one I'm talking about. That's a good
cascading sound that she makes. That it kind of goes down a little bit in that kind of a high.
Because here's the crazy thing. Yeah, because here's the crazy thing. On this, it's all in Japanese though, but there's 2 versions of the 61 version of Mothra, and like I say, they both have the larva version, and then when she's in full form as Moth. So yeah, but I was picking the final version of her. I hadn't thought about that. That's a good point. You brought that up. Mark was like, huh. It's kind of funny, and then now you bring that up. It's kind of weird knowing that, as I said before, they try to distinctly create the sound effects, the vocals for these creatures, even when they're out of their shell or as babies, and then when they get big enough, it's like their voices, their vocals, which naturally change, and they sound completely different. So, yeah, no, the when it's in full, when she's in a full moth form, that's the one I'm talking about. So, but I had to give it to the queen because, as Professor would say, that's a big bitch. So, got to give it to her. But no, we had to. Like I say, you gotta give it to the ladies once in a while because let's be honest, if it wasn't for the ladies, it wouldn't be the men. So I'm just saying.
That's a huge bitch.
Yes, there you go. But continuing on, we're on to number 4, and I'm giving it back to the Enigma man. What is your number 4, sir?
My number 4 is Rodan.
Okay.
Nice.
Because Rodan has pretty much had the same roar since debuting, pretty much, just about. I mean, that iconic roar that has been used by Batra as well.
That's true. I think I remember that. Yeah.
So both larval and
Mhm.
magmo form.
Imago.
Imago, thank you.
Mhm.
So, but yeah, I had to give it to Rodan because, he's one of the top 5 kaijus in the Godzilla verse. So I had to put a shout out to him. So he's
Okay.
my number 4.
Number 4 is. Well, Professor, what is your number 4?
Okay, my number 4.
Wait a
Now,
minute. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Was it number 4?
Yep, number 4.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I'm getting a little my guys. See, that's why I say watch me because I'm like, oh God, like I say,
Between the 5 of us, one will have it right.
yes, thank you. Okay, number 4. Boy, dude, this. Oh my God, number 4, Professor. What is number 4?
Yeah, number 4. This is 2 creatures because they're from the same franchise. Number 4, it is the Graboid and Shrieker from the Tremors franchise.
Nice.
Yeah. Now, what I like about the Graboid sound effects is when you first hear the tentacle, it's like this hissing, screeching sound. When the full creature awakens, it's this big wailing sound. Now, the first time we actually see the full Graboid revealed, you can actually hear a bit of the scream sound effects from Predator 2 put in there.
Yes.
And the other time is when the Graboid bursts through Burt Gummer's basement. Burt and Heather are just unloading every single weapon into it. Then you have that guttural breathing that it's doing just as it's shaking off all the bullets.
Mm-hmm.
Another one is, of course, when the Graboid swallows the explosion and just blows up.
Yeah.
So that's all you hear from it. Then, of course, there's the Shriekers, which, and I have to say, the sound department did a really good job on the Shriekers screaming in Shriekers in Tremors 2, especially when it comes to the little idle clicking or groaning that they do whenever they're just trailing their tongues along the floor or even looking through the infrared organ on their head, on the top of their heads.
Right.
Scarier than the ass blasters.
Yeah, right.
Yep.
I don't know. Those ass blasters, I mean, like, there you go. I mean, ass blasters. Like, what? Okay. Big Bad, what is your number 4?
So my number 4 has to go to Mr.
Wow.
For those of you that don't know, I am referencing the Spinosaurus from Jurassic Park 3.
Yes. Wow. Nice. Nice.
Nice one.
That was for the scare. That was for to get PTSD for the viewers at home.
Yes.
Because the moment you see the Spinosaurus's roar is the moment where They first get on the island. They're not sure what island they're on. Alan wakes up after getting knocked out by one of the mob members. And he goes, what is going on? And you hear the mom of the boy they're looking for screaming for, Eric! Eric! He goes, tell your wife it's a bad idea. What's a bad idea? Then you hear that loud, guttural, bellowish roar from the distance. Like it's very much like a modified crocodile bellow, if I had to describe it, because it's so guttural, but it's very crocodilian in aspect. But it also has its own modification to it to make it unique and stand out. It's almost like they took a crocodile's bellow and combined it with the T-Rex's roar and made it something else.
Okay, cool. Well, Mark, what's your number 4, sir? I mean, I know you got something unique going on there.
Well, I'm with my brother Kaiju Enigma on this. My number 4 is Rodan.
Oh, okay.
I think I like Rodan's kind of melodic roar, like when he's within the adult form. First time you hear him, there's this really kind of melodious roar that he's got, and it reminds me of a bird warble a little bit. I could hear bird sounds in there and like how they were trying to imitate a bird a little bit in there. So I always thought that was really a creepy sound because it didn't sound like Godzilla. It didn't sound like anything else, any other monster. But it also made it a little more, especially toward the end. You know, the very bad ending. I hate the ending of Rodan, but you can hear the pain in their shrieks. There's they get longer and they get more drawn out and more exasperated, and so to me that embodies a pain. So you really kind of feel empathy for these creatures. They didn't ask for to be awakened, just trying to deal with being alive millions of years after they should be dead. But so anyway, Rodan.
Okay. Dragonzord from
Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Yeah. All right. Well, for me, I got to give it to the big, turtle power, Mr. Gamera himself, because he's got a very unique sounding voice, where he's like, exactly. He's like,
no, that one's Toto. Toto's Cowabunga.
Yep.
Oh, is it? Okay. Is it cow? Is it okay? Cow. Oh,
well, every time I look at Toto from Gamera the Brave, all I think of is Mikey.
Yeah. See, so variations going on here, but no, Gamera. That's funny how his voice is not that recognizable in the Brave or no, the Guardian, and but he's kind of more of looking like a baby anyway. But no, but Gamera's voice, especially in the Showa era, is very recognizable, and like I say, it's something that you just can hear when he bellows. It goes out, and it's very unique, and it's one of those other studios where it was in competition with Toho, but his was so iconic in knowing that he took it upon himself for another studio to say, hey, y'all got your Godzilla, but we got Gamera, and they both start with G's, and it's like, hey, his is going to be matched up with yours eventually, and it would be so great if one day these two mammoth individuals meet up in I'm not talking about video games because they've done it in video games, short films. I'm talking about an actual film where they either join up together or they battle one another. And it seems like this, or both.
Yeah, you got to have like a classic wrestling formula, where they meet each other, they're adversaries, they beat each other up and leave, and then another monster comes in, they team up against the monster.
Yeah, they would have to do that because they ended the film with one beating the other. Fans would not be able to recover from that. It's like what happened in Godzilla vs. Kong and Batman vs. Superman. Even though one clearly was the victim, they still had to team up because it's kind of like it distracted the fans from the fact that that's a certain percentage of the fan base. They were rooting for this guy, and their guy also distracted them from that.
And that's how it goes.
Yeah, Gamera's a great pick.
Yes, well, hey, like I say, you got to not just be. Look, Toho's got some great roundups, but there are other ones in there that's just as powerful.
Now I wish I had brought in something from Toei, the other one who did like Johnny Sacco and Green Slime. You know,
You could, and like I say, I may not have been very specific on it, but I mean,
no, it's good. I mean, that I like that though, because now I'm thinking about these other monsters that way. I'm
Right.
listening to the sounds in my head, because those shows are also just as memorable to me. I grew up with Johnny Sacco, so
Okay.
you know, things like that. But no, this is just great, having a blast.
Okay. And we got a shout out from Mr. Artistic Lizard, sir. How you
What
doing,
up,
sir?
brother?
Yes.
What up?
Be happy to see you in Chicago this coming summer. So you be ready, sir. Yes, just for FYI, I'm heading to G-Fest, people, just in case, this coming July. So yeah, just don't expect me to do anything between that time. So sorry. Anyway,
Fun. You're gonna have a great time.
Yes, exactly. So coming from number 3, back to Mr. Justice. What is your number 3 for this roundup?
My number 3 is a monster that terrified me as a kid, in the same movie that I first saw, Minya. This is the bully monster, Gabara. Yeah, I have always loved Gabara because of that movie. You know, he's always been that really interesting looking monster with the tuft of hair, just that odd tuft of hair, and the almost feline vocalization or looks in the vocalizations. But he's got such a really brass and like a lot of brass to his roar. It kind of mimics his character. You know, it's over the top. It's going to get in your way. So yeah, Gabara.
And doesn't he just seems like doesn't his voice just sounds like a bully's voice in a way? You know, it's like he just emulates that.
Yeah, I think they were doing for something like really irritating and annoying and big and loud, and I thought, well, they did a good job. You know,
right?
Here's picking on little Minya. Can't even blow smoke rings yet.
Yes.
Yes, we have.
About time they did.
Wow. Yes. Look, you got gamers on here, Tistic, and trust me, they're very excited about that. So they have heard about that. Okay. Well, Mr. Big Bad, what is your number 3, sir?
I feel we have to go iconic and a little bit of nostalgia, so I'm going to go back to 1933, King Kong's Roar.
Okay. We're going back in time. Gonna get back in time. Okay.
I just feel we need to include his roar because his kind of set the pace for even other Kong incarnations.
True. Yeah.
And I mean, especially the big reveal when we finally see Kong for the first time, just him and his roar was just super. Back in those days, that's why it was super impactful in the theater. Say for those of us that watched that film for the first time, you gotta imagine how impacted it made us later on in life.
Yeah. Because we got to remember that if it wasn't for the 33 King Kong, we really wouldn't have Godzilla to begin with, you know. So it's like, yeah, that one thing led to another, and that chain event just happened, you know. And thankfully it did, because we wouldn't be here talking about it now. We wouldn't be talking about this particular outcome, about the roars that they make, you know. So it's like, that is a very good point. So, Mr. Professor, you're number 3, sir.
All right. At number 3, we're jumping to the 1980s, and we're going to circle back to this one. It is the extraterrestrial from John Carpenter's The Thing. Yeah. Now, the sound effects that had me scared the first time I saw it was when we first see the dog transform in the kennel. When McCready and co shine their flashlights on it, the dog's head thing just rolls around, and it has that really dissonant, uncanine-like snarl. The other instance is when Bennings gets consumed by the thing. He's sitting out there in the snow. Mac's like, "It isn't Bennings." And Bennings just looks at him. Then you just see his hands all mangled and misshapen. And then when he opens his mouth, it just starts off as that low, dissonant growl. And then it grows and echoes into this disembodied, unknown noise. It just sounds like a billion different life forms from all over the cosmos just encapsulated into one simple thing. The other sound effects I enjoyed was when Blair. No, not Blair. Norris. That was it, Norris. When he had to be on when he was having the defibrillator, and then his chest just ripped open. Then you have that weird, disjointed screaming sound he makes as his head is ripping off and the spider legs are spraying about the place. Really good sound designs, really creepy ones, especially with armor when his face just rips open.
Some of the best practical effects ever on screen. Those
Yeah.
practical
with
effects
with some really good jump scares too, like when he went to when not Mark, when Kirk Russell's character McCready is over chest in the blood, and you get that slight tap, but then that blood just growls and jumps up out of nowhere.
That squealing. Yes.
Yeah, the chest opening scene I think is one of the best shocks in cinema. You know, like, oh, you know, you are just not expecting that, and it's so horrifying. And I love that they just extend the horror with that head as it slowly drips down.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, oh, and then it crawls away. I'm like, oh, come on. Yes. It just gets better and better. And I think
it's like you watch a thing crawl, it's like, guys, look behind you. It's still alive.
Yeah. And that's I mean, it's 45 years old and it stands up. You know, it's just beautiful to look at. It's a fantastic movie.
No, it's beautiful. It's
along with especially with how the movie ends on an open ending, like you don't know what happened.
Yeah, and the special effects are every bit as good today. Like CG hasn't done any better. I'm sorry.
No, I also like
gorgeous.
I also like the roar when Blair fully transformed at the end, especially when the dog popped out too, and it's like a mixture of all of them sounds together. You're like, you're like, what the crap is this thing losing its mind? Because usually it's supposed to try to copy and mimic the organism that's stuck inside, but you see there's two things inside of it, so it makes you wonder what's going on.
Yeah,
that's very true. Well, Jake, what is your number 3, sir?
Well, this is probably not going to make Kevin happy, but my number 3 is Space G from Godzilla versus Space Godzilla.
Okay.
Because I enjoyed his roar, which is a modified roar of Gigan's. Because they modified it because you kind of can hear it when it roars.
Right.
Almost. But yeah, just something with Space Godzilla
it kind of gave him that intergalactic flair.
Oh yeah. And I enjoyed that film, so
I mean, in truth be told, you know, I understand why that film doesn't get as much love as the other Heisei films, but there's something charming about it. I mean, not necessarily the baby Godzilla with the very like, wow, I'm so high, I feel like I'm fucked up here, you know. So that kind of way, you know. But I get it though. That's you got to admit though, that's a very cute kaiju. That's probably one of the cutest kaijus.
It is a cute kaiju.
Yes,
that was the only thing saving it, right?
That was the only thing. Look,
it feels rushed because it was. They weren't expecting to make it. I think, you know, but I mean, the asteroid field is. Oh, come on! They could have done a lot better. You know, it was just terrible as far as special effects go. But
I mean, that was like the only films you could literally see the puppet wires on each of the kaiju.
It was bad. It was like Mrs. Tanaka's 3rd grade class made these. You know, it's like, oh, come on, guys.
Or like how that Godzilla suit was literally falling apart in that film, because at one point you see the tail tip almost fling off and he's going underwater.
Yeah.
Wow. See, that's what I'm saying.
Like it was literally wear and tear.
And you think that the artists back then was like, they're very good at concealing these things, but I guess as you say, Mark, it's like, they were kind of rushing it a little bit. So yeah,
that's what it felt like. You know, I think on the success of the previous movie, they rushed into it. You know, but they were cranking out movies every year in that era, and that's right. I think it's kind of it starts to show in that like the speed of that, but. You know, but there's something I can like in all of them. You know, there's none of them I don't like. So.
As you say, a little charm to them.
Yeah,
which is what it is.
Yeah.
But to my number 3, and this is the reason why it's at number 3, Megalon himself. I mean, the big cockroach or beetle, or whatever you want to call it. I mean, he's got that lightning bolt on his head. It's like it's always been something I've always. I don't know why his design is just something about it, but when you hear him roar, it's like, go figure that his roar is made up of other kaiju's a little bit, but it's his own variation, and just in the in the fact that when it's kind of funny that when he's roaring, you can actually distinctly tell when he's either just roaring or he's kind of laughing. It's like he's mocking that moment where he blows that jaguar out of the sky. He's like,
oh, like that moment where Godzilla and Jaguar in a ring of fire, and at one point he's literally smacking his ass.
Yes, that's that.
Laughing at Godzilla and Jaguar, like he's literally telling him, "Kiss my ass."
Yes.
Oh, why the fuck am I here?
Right. And you want to.
Exactly what it,
the fun fact about Megalon is his main design, I like to think, is based off of king beetles, especially that large antenna on top of his head.
Yeah.
You should do subtitles for all their roars, Professor. You should be. That would be great. I want to hear him say, "What the fuck am I doing here?" I would pay $1 to see that
Dude, that would be cool.
We should make it. We should just make it. That would be awesome.
Why the fuck am I in this meeting?
Yeah.
Who issued this? Why?
It'll be the Wolf of Wall Street version of Godzilla. Okay. How many times can we say fuck in a movie? Let's do it.
Look, it'd be funny. He starts doing like McConaughey characters like.
That's great.
Oh my god. But no, Megalon he's a childhood favorite, so it's got to be number 3 for sure.
And he always did like wearing togas, so yeah.
Yeah, true.
That's
a good point.
Is that the Bandai? Is that the Bandai Monster Island series?
No, this is the first version of the movie Monster series.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, very nice.
A bit disappointing because of how lackluster the paint is, but I do know that they did a re-release where it had a bit more paint going on.
That, and there's also a retro metallic version, which I actually have.
Oh, nice.
All right, well, sirs, we're almost there. We're two more, and don't lose your heads, please. Unless the kaiju comes and fights it off, then that's on you.
Unless it's Sanders.
Yes, Mark. Mark, what is your number 2, sir?
My number 2, which some of us have talked about, he's got the biggest teeth in kaiju. We got Gamera.
Okay.
Yeah, the Showa era Gamera. They do have a little bit of those sounds in the 90s trilogy, but I just love the Showa era. That's where I grew up watching. And he's got a lot of different vocalizations as well. There's like, the pain, screaming in pain when he's standing there letting Gauss just shoot the crap out of his arm. Like, oh no, right. I wish I could fly away. Oh, I can. To other kinds of like quieter screams. But yeah, it's just kind of, and it's such an abrasive kind of sound. It's very, very trumpety and loud. Again, it was different than Godzilla's more throaty roar, so it always stood out. Yeah, Gamera,
the turtle himself, turtle power. Okay, Big Bad, what is your number 2?
So number 2 was very difficult for me because I could, but it was a toss. It was a coin toss between the Graboids from Tremors and Blair's full transformation in The Thing, and I had to go with Blair's full transformation in The Thing, just because you literally, especially the head, it looked a lot like a more Monsters Venus flytrap. Mm-hmm. But then just the sounds it made was like a whole conjunction of that thing's sounds and the sounds of the other things before it. Just all combined to one, especially when the dog started popping out of its side. And it added more horror to the creature, showing like noise as opposed to copy and become the organism. It has become a parasite inside, but it seems it can also hold the information from the other organisms it's also trying to copy.
Okay. And you want to know a fun fact about that last iteration of the thing, the Blair thing? It was supposed to be a full stop motion version of that, but
Yeah.
they went with the full animatronic, which I'm glad they did because it's more realistic. I mean, not to say he couldn't do, but I feel that the full scale version of it, in the animatronic version, it's like it's more realistic, it's more tangible, and it's more very, very, very scary. It's like it's very aggressive looking. It's like I love how it looks. And that roar when it does, it's like yes, it's very animalistic, but as I say, a blend of all the things that it's been imitating through who knows how long. And it's very scary, like I say again. But Professor, you're number 2, sir.
Right, number 2. This is a cult classic which has a very interesting bit of trivia about it. It's the Gill Man from Creature from the Black Lagoon as number 2. This is very guttural and very primal sound effects whenever the creature is on land. And it also has this sort of frog ribbit going on. When the first instance he comes out of the water, we hear him approaching the camp, and it has this sound effect before he just absolutely tears the entire camp to pieces. You have that really iconic roar that he makes in the first instance. Now, fun fact about that roar, Steven Spielberg actually repurposed for the truck falling over the cliff in Duel, which was then also repurposed but further modified for the groaning of the shark in Jaws after it had its head blown off.
Well, we come full circle. It's very Nagare.
Yeah.
Circle of life. We've gone from water to land to water.
Yeah.
Oh, very cool.
And we come from water like that.
And the Gillman suit, if you look, I mean, if you're the genius of the design, when the actor would breathe, the gills and the head would move.
Yeah.
So he could affect the way it looked, and that it just adds that level of realism that is just so what makes the creature such a wonderful monster.
Yeah. No, go ahead, Walter.
No, I was gonna say no. Go ahead. I was gonna say go ahead.
Yeah, I have to say that having 2 stunt actors play the creature, one on land and one for the water, was a really good decision because you can actually see the artistry of the. Now I remember it was a lady who designed the Gillman,
Correct.
but then for some reason she was shafted and never got the full credit.
Yeah,
but the artistry,
years and years later, it's only been actually pretty recently. Yeah.
Yeah, but the artistry that she put into the Gillman is just phenomenal in this design. And actually seeing it in motion underwater, you're convinced that this isn't a costume. This is a real living thing. This missing link between marine and terrestrial life.
Because I was just going to add the fact that what stands out the most, especially when you see the reveal of it, is it's coming towards camera. And the eyes are just like it's very like you don't know what its intentions are. It's just like it's steadily coming towards you. It's like it's actually coming towards towards the audience. What in the breathing apparatus of all this. It's like wow, it sticks out in your mind. So it's like I totally get that.
Yeah.
But Jake, what is your number 2, sir?
Just like Mark, Gamera.
Okay.
Gamera is my number 2. Pretty much throughout the show era, its roar was all, like Mark said, very different types of roars. And then you have the Heisei roar, which you still have the original, but also a little more of a darker tone for the Heisei era. But all in all, Gamera is my number 2, and he's nostalgic. So
yeah, so much of this stuff isn't it? I mean, that's why we can watch these today and love them just as much. It's because it still tickles that little, that something, that sweet spot in us that we've carried since childhood, and that's what makes it so great.
It would make no sense not for that to happen, because I know for myself, this is why, even now, nearly 60 years old, it's such a joy when you hear this stuff, and then you look back. It's like, man, when did I first hear this? When I first originally, and it's like you was a little kid, and to think that it still sticks in your mind long after, it's like, yes, that shows how effective these particular things are, and I'm just so glad that it does do that, because hell, if it didn't, then it's like, as I say again, I wouldn't be discussing this with you guys, wouldn't be talking about it at all. But for me, number 2, well, I have to give it to the three-headed dragon himself. I can't really emulate him. His sounds are more electronic almost, but I mean it's very eerie at the same time. But King Ghidorah himself, did I say King Ghidorah? Yeah, King Ghidorah. Okay. Now I'm thinking in the English version it's Ghidra, but I'm saying the exact correct pronunciation, King Ghidorah. And funny thing about that is, for the longest time, I always thought that's how it's pronounced, Ghidra. But when you get the actual pronunciation of it from Japan, it's like it makes sense.
Well, fun fact: Ghidorah's name comes from the Japanese word for Hydra, which is pretty much Hidor. They just put a G right behind the H.
Oh, okay. See, I wouldn't know that. See,
and also in the Showa era, even though he's called Ghidorah, they actually in the Japanese they do call him Ghidra in the Japanese version.
Do they? Okay, I had to read.
Yeah.
I thought it was always Ghidorah.
But in like the Heisei though, they do say Ghidorah.
Okay. Because it's kind of interesting knowing that he stands out like that. Go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, I was saying I always call him Ghidorah as well, because that's what all the movies growing up as a kid, and all the English translations, Ghidorah. And then I wasn't really until I got into G-Fan and the Japanese versions of the movies that I would hear even the talk about Ghidorah. I'm like, oh, okay, the pronunciation. That makes perfect sense. It's like Minya, Manila. I mean, there's all kinds of variations of these names, depending on, I think, probably the company that released or translated the movies over here in the States. So we have wildly different translations on some of these names.
And not to be funny, but isn't it funny how certain things get lost in translation from one language to another? And it's like, that's how we've been pronouncing it, but it's like, that's the actual pronunciation of it, and it's like, and me personally, and I'm not saying that I'm doing it just to be respectful. I want to make sure that I am pronouncing what I'm hearing exactly, because as I say again, it's very hard to pronounce some of these names, and some of these, even with the actors' names, it's like you want to say it with the correct pronunciation, but at the same time, it's like, oh, you're gonna fuck this up because your tongue is not that wild when it comes to saying these things, And what we got here, Mr. Yeah, right, Rex. Yeah, yep. There you go, number 2. Okay, now I should mention, I don't know if you guys have any honorable mentions, but I'm going to mention 2 monster sound effects that I don't think really gets too much love in the cinemas, and they are very iconic themselves. It's kind of funny. I was going to pick this one, but I said, I don't think I'm going to put this one on the list. The giant claw bird sound. Yeah. I mean,
the roar is as big as a battleship too.
Yes, it's right. I mean, it's but then you think about it, it's like, I mean, because I was gonna say it sounds silly, but hell, some of the monsters we've mentioned on here have a certain silliness to them themselves. But I say, I'm gonna stick with the ones that I feel like are more personal to me, And then the other one is the chirping sound of the giant ants from them, like
oh yeah,
those things really stick out, because if anyone's watched them, it's like those are so iconic, but it gets kind of thrown under the rug a little bit because it was part of the 50 sci-fi genre back then, and you had some films back then that were actually more semi-serious, while the rest of them were just like, oh, these are just total cash grabs, and it's like, well, we make some money off it, so be it. But I feel it tends to get lost and mixed like that.
Them is spectacular. Also one of my favorites. I think most of the best sci-fi came out of the 50s. At least this, that classic stuff is very comforting. I could watch them anytime or listen to it if I'm working. I often will play it on my computer while I'm doing other things, so I could listen to the movie while I work. So but that ant sound is so memorable. That you hear that screeching sound because it does sound. It's an insect. I mean, you hear it like in the chirping of the insects in the summertime, whether it's crickets or grasshoppers or whatever. So you hear that. I'm like, oh, that makes perfect sense that an ant might use that same kind of sound.
And fun fact, in the movie Them, they used a Wilhelm sound over 5 times in the movie.
Do they? I didn't know that. Okay. Because that's an interesting thing about the Wilhelm sound. It's an old sound effect.
It's universal. Like it's used. I use that in a lot of my gaming videos a lot when something bad happens to one of us.
Yeah, but so many. But see, I'm talking about some of the purists still think like that's coming from Star Wars. No, it's not coming from Star Wars. It's not originated by that. When you hear that stormtroopers fall, that look, it's like it's not coming from that. Sorry, I'm not. No, Ben Burtt did not create that sound effect. He borrowed it from an old Western. That's where it comes from. Stop saying that. Okay. Get that out of your headspace. So
that's right.
We can be thankful for the cowboy who was sawing up his pipe on horseback when a native threw a spear into his leg. And that's when it happened.
So that's where the origin of my leg from SpongeBob happened.
Robert Snow.
And also the leg joke from Skyrim.
Well.
Why?
We are at number 1, gentlemen, and
could I do some of the also rants? I mean, we might
do
a couple of those.
Yeah,
I was trying to fit 10. I'm like, well, I will do one that it just scares me to no end. It's Nemesis from Resident Evil. Since we're going after the genre, Resident Evil 2 and 3. Especially in 2 when he just says stars. I'm like, oh fuck.
Yes.
And I had to go change my pants and then keep on playing. Nemesis from Resident Evil 2 is still really, really scary. I love those games. And then this was really funny because we don't often get to hear monsters actually speak. I mean, in the English version of Godzilla, but I'm going to go with a talking plant named Audrey 2 from Little Shop of Horrors.
Okay.
The original Roger Corman version.
Okay.
And
yes, I know what you're talking about.
Feed me. I'm hungry. And it's just these short commands. And that's all it is. But man, I was like 4 years old when I saw that, and it just has stuck out with me. Because you can see like blood and stuff being poured in. And I think I was cognizant, like, oh, that's someone's blood. Okay, this is pretty gross. But just a funny plant, just a great plant. So those are my 2, also rants.
And just anyone who's like millennial, when I say millennials, but who are like totally like under 20 years old, if you don't know what Mark is talking about, trust me, I do, because we're in that age class to know what we're talking about. It's before, you got to remember, a lot of the stuff that y'all know about, it goes way back further than you think it does, just to let you know, FYI.
I think Little Shop of Horrors was 1960, 62?
60, something like that. It was early 60s, I'm sure.
Yeah. Super low budget. Roger Corman, I mean, I think he shot it in it's like 3 days or something like that.
I've seen that film.
Yeah. But it's so good. And its badness,
It's actually, I was gonna say, it's actually, exactly. It's actually bad effective for its good. I mean, when it's bad, it's good for its bad. It's very
just like Bucket of Blood. I mean, Corman did some good stuff. He did some good stuff in the early 60s. Bucket of Blood is also really good.
House of Usher.
Yeah, the stuff he did with Ferris Poe. Those color ones were great. Yeah.
So and I actually have 3 honorable mentions as well.
All right.
So, one, and for Daniel here, Veron.
Yes.
Gorosaurus. And for a little twist, I'm going to go with Megaguirus. as my honorable mentions for roars that didn't make the list. Definitely love Gorosaurus. Definitely love Varan. And Megaguirus's one was very unique. Kind of like somebody doing a remix tape almost.
Basically,
yeah. But yeah, those are my 3 honorable mentions.
So
well,
I
was gonna say, do you have one, Big Bear?
Yep. So one is of course the Grab Boys from Tremors, because it's just very unique how they all had a mixture of other monster growl sound effects onto one creepy animalistic being that you have no idea what it is, but like it makes you think it's some kind of mammal digging on the ground till you till you get to reveal their faces that you're like, oh crap, these things are actually worms. And then my other honorable mention will be the World Eater itself, the mean green spiky mutant T-Rex from Monster Hunter. It'll be my favorite monster from the Monster Hunter series. It is Devil Joe. His voice is very gut. It's like a very angry guttural Fastatosaurus almost.
Okay.
And then last will be the Cathoga from the Relic.
Ah, yes, that's a good one too. I mean, that's because we talked about that recently with.
We talked about it last week.
Yeah, and that's I think that's one that doesn't. That's another roar that doesn't that gets kind of pushed on a bit because no one talks about.
That one's just that one just gives like a very eerie and unsettling vibe, especially when you get the full reveal of what the creature looks like.
Right.
It's almost like the reveal of the Wendigo from Antlers.
And someone's just messing with us. Kevin said that Godzuki is the best. Yeah, if you're 7 or 6 years old, I mean, you're going back to the 70s there. Yeah, we actually was. You know, I mean, I don't know if you remember it, Mark, but when
1977,
the Hanna-Barbera.
I hated Godzuki. I still do. I still enjoy the cartoon, but Godzuki's got to go.
It's Godzuki. It's like it's only for those who get into it, but if they can't, don't worry about it because it's like, yeah, Godzuki. It's like, no. Anyway, number 1. Okay. I don't know how y'all feel about it. I don't know how y'all feel in terms of what your number 1 and if it's really stands out. Because as I said again, Godzilla's here. Whoever's that number 1 is just right there. So with that being said, Mark, what is your number 1 monster roar?
It's my number 1 is one we've already talked about before. This is Ghidorah.
Okay.
Yeah, and what stands out to me about the Ghidorah is I remember that it's the memory. I was probably 12 or so or 13.
Kevin, you're in timeout.
And at the church I used to go to, and there was this organ they had, and the organ sound when I was just kind of playing around with it, I'm like, oh wait a minute, it has that vibrato to it. I'm like, wait a minute, this sounds like Ghidorah. And I was like doing my fingers. It's like these triplets. Ghidorah's got these kind of, but I'm like, oh, they're like using an organ or something for some of his trills and things like that. So I don't know. It's just so memorable and iconic. I've heard it so many times, maybe a little too many times in different incarnations, but he's still such a great monster, a great villain or hero. So it's a great roar. Ghidorah.
I would say when he was a good guy in GMK, they definitely changed his roar around and made him sound more angelic.
Yeah, and changed his look and,
Well, the funny thing is his look is all based off of Furon's face. Because originally Furon was supposed to be in GMK along with Anguirus.
Oh,
okay.
But they got replaced.
Side things, yeah.
But they got replaced with King Ghidorah and Mothra. The only OG one that still stuck around was Baragon.
Yeah. Okay. Well, John, since you're giving that good facts here, what is your number 1, sir?
So I will say this. The reason why I didn't mention any of the Toho or Gamma or even Ultraman Kaijus because I felt, a lot of us are probably going to use them anyways. I want to get them out of spotlight, put some other creatures into the limelight. Because us as kaiju fans, I mean, we're always going to choose kaiju most of the time. I just want to give some other. But these last two, however, so I have a double featurette.
Okay.
So number one is the Rhedosaurus from Beast from 20,000 Fathoms.
Okay.
Especially when he first appears and the scientist freaks out just hearing his roar for the first time. Like, I'd say back then the movie first came out, it's probably very chilling, but almost impactful like the Rexy roar. But what part of the roar makes it chilling is when he first gets injured. When he gets that shot in the neck from the tank blast. And you hear that cry of pain, that roar of pain, like it's very spine chilling almost.
Yeah.
When it
It
starts
makes me think
freaking
of a
out.
dog being injured at first. That screaming.
Yeah, you can now that you mention, you do kind of hear a little bit of a wounded dog in there. It's almost like they modified that with a few other animal roars, maybe some reptile sounds. And then my other one I'm going to put on with number one is Britain's Godzilla, Gorgo.
Okay.
Because when you hear it, it's literally a bunch of modified elephant sounds. That a couple of his sounds almost remind you of Descador, because that's what they did with Descador. Or if you want to go more into it, I like to think Gorgo sounds like you're scooting a wooden table through a metal hallway.
Right.
That's true.
Wow. Excuse me, sorry about that. Yeah, that's a good point. Sorry, got to check something right quick. No, that is a good point, and it's funny how they take actual sounds of animals in the real world and kind of incorporate them into these big giant, behemoths, and give some kind of life. And what is Kevin saying here? He's saying Goliath. Yeah, right. That's and I'm gonna be honest with you. It's funny how there's so much backstory behind, and it makes me kind of wonder if they'll ever do something like this. And I'm not trying to get off too much track, but tell the story of how they made the story for these films. Because to me, isn't it kind of weird that the story behind the movies we see have a origin of their own, have an interest of their own? It's like it needs to be a story or a documentary about that. I think they need to do that once in a while.
Like the creative aspects, the creative factory. Where do the
You need to do that.
Yeah, and on the aspect
I think
of
if they
GMK,
were to actually remake GMK and decide to go with what they originally planned, I think there'd be so much potential if they went full on anime with it.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
On the subject of GMK, what I like how in the finished movie they have Godzilla as more like a sort of undead Grim Reaper type of character, which I think is a really good fit for that kaiju.
Right. No, but because like I say, he is the embodiment of so many souls that are lost. That's why if you gave him eyes or at least pupils, it would be not so frightening, but his eyes are just white, and it's like that makes it more like horrific, just and terrifying. I think.
I love that suit design. I do, and it's partially because of the white eyes. It's just no pupils. It is horrifying, and it's definitely a monster look, and like undead, kind of, or possessed kind of look,
or like an angry spirit.
Yeah.
Yes, buried. Exactly.
Yeah, that's great.
All right, then, Professor, you're number one, sir. I hate to even ask what it is, but hit us.
Okay. Before I unveil my number ones, I'm going through my honorable mentions.
Okay.
Now honorable mentions include the demonic growling sounds we hear from the distress call in Event Horizon. That's an honorable mention. Another honorable mention is... what was it? Damn it. No, yes, I got it, yeah. Another one, the Velociraptors from Jurassic Park. Another honorable mention. Next honorable mention, it is. Now, next honorable mention is the Vastatosaurus Rex from Peter Jackson's King Kong.
That one's a good one.
Yep. Now, another honorable mention. This is very high at the top. It's Anguirus, specifically from Godzilla Raids Again.
Yes.
Because I really do like that sound design. Next one at the very top, right along Anguirus, is the Jawas from Star Wars.
Okay.
Another
Not so much
one-
monster, but I get it though. Yeah, that's yeah, they are good.
Yeah. Now, another honorable mention along with that is the what are they called? They're the little
The middle finger. What you saying?
no,
Ooh.
the Sentinels. That's it. The Sentinels from the Matrix.
Okay.
another honorable sound.
I got you. Yes. I'm just messing with you on that.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Then of course there's the Sea Louse, specifically from the Raymond Burr edit of Godzilla 1985. That sound design. And at the very top of the honorable mentions is Varan himself.
Oh, really? Okay.
Very, very top of the honorable mentions.
Suck on that, Jedi. You were wrong.
I guess I was. I was like,
And number one, and yes, Gorgo and Conga are included in those honorable mentions. Thank you for reminding me, Kevin. Congo and Gorgo are in those honorable mentions, including the Retrosaurus from both Beast and 20,000 Fathoms and Planet of Dinosaurs, because that creature was reused in a 70s film, Planet of Dinosaurs. But number one goes to the Xenomorph from Alien. Now, what I like about the Xenomorph sound design, specifically in the adult form of the Xenomorph, is how it contrasts with its design. It's this strange biomechanoid creature that looks as though it's purely a machine, yet there are elements of organic and even eroticism in this design. Yet when you hear it, it sounds like this screaming banshee of sorts. Especially when if you play Alien Isolation and you play with headphones in, and you have the Xenomorph see you, and then makes that shrieking sound as it charges you, it's the most nightmare-inducing thing you could ever hear. And
It's the same in Sega's 2010 Alien vs. Predator. We do the Marine campaign. When you hear that Xenomorph screeching in the dark, there's that mission where you're trapped in darkness, where you have a flashlight and the pulse rifle, and you're trying to search for something to get yourself out of the area. You just hear multiple screams at once, and you're just like, "Where's this coming from?"
Yeah, and good thing you pointed that out, John, because in that particular game, in the Marine campaign, you go into the nightclub to find more members of your squad, only to find that your squad's been wiped out. Then all of a sudden, your reinforcements are cut off. Someone or something starts the prearranged drum and bass music with all the flashing strobe lights, and then the whole time you're just listening to the motion tracker going wild as you hear these hissing and snarling creatures just spiraling through this environment like black liquid death.
Like,
and when
you literally
you just have that screaming sound, and it never stops.
Right.
Like, you hear beep 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 from the motion trackers, and you're going insane because you're wondering if it's being truthful or not, if it's malfunctioning. Then start to hear the hissing that at one point you're literally you're tempted to go trigger happy because you're literally like, I need to kill these things because this is driving me crazy.
Yeah. And some key Xenomorph sounds that I think are my top favorite Xenomorphs: the chest burster from the first Alien, the adult Alien when it grabs Dallas in the vent, the Alien death cry, which is the peacock elephant sound from Aliens, just iconic.
Oh yeah, that's always hilarious. I always find it hilarious when they make those sounds.
Yeah, and to think it's such a funny combination, yet you hear it in the final product. It's Jesus Christ, that works. There's also the Alien Queen from the first thing. Then from the AVP 2010 game, there's the Pred Alien Hybrid. Both its screaming and also its growling as well.
I like
Then
how
from
in Requiem
Alien,
they get the Predalien a combination between the Xenomorph sounds and the Predator sounds.
yeah, that's right. Then lastly, in Alien Isolation, it's the main Xenomorph itself, whether it's screaming or it's just hissing and snarling as it's just searching for you. No matter where you try and hide, it's always there and searching for you.
What's Kevin saying here?
Yes, that was another one I mentioned. Thank you so much for reminding me.
Very good, yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Also, it sounds like something you'd hear from a piece of Lovecraft literature, Cloverfield. It has a very ethereal but also insanity-inducing sound in its quality.
Because we got to remind ourselves the Cloverfield monster. We have to remind ourselves that's a baby. That's not even a full-grown adult. That's actually a child. So a child is going to be, doing everything. Because when you actually find out how big these things get, it's like, it's bad enough that it's this small. But when they get to like gargantuan size, like, oh, we're in deep shit here.
Yeah, what's amazing too is the facial design is is very akin to vampire bats.
Yeah, it does. But Enigma, number one, sir, hit me with it.
Well, that would probably hurt if I hit you, but okay.
It would hurt, yes.
But no, my number one is what you had mentioned earlier, and what Olvin mentioned in the chat. My number one is Rexy from the original Jurassic Park.
Okay.
I mean that iconic roar. I mean, the first time I heard it in theaters was just like, especially when I was little, shit shivers down my spine.
I mean, it's just like it. Look, you don't forget it. I mean, when she roars, it's like you listen. Like EFX.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Anything.
But yeah, Rexy is my number one.
Okay.
It's so different, as we had pointed out earlier. Professor had pointed out the silliness of the dinosaurs, and then compared what they sound like to Jurassic Park. And I think there was such an attempt to make sounds as realistic as possible from what we were learning about dinosaurs at the time, and just trying to guess at it. But yes, it is. It's so unique and terrifying, and I think it's superior to then. I mean, they really had good dinosaur sounds in the sequels too, but yeah, the first time you hear it and that big roar, it's like, oh, okay, I guess it's like a lion,
Yeah, back then we were still barely learning about dinosaurs. All we could do is take a guess of what they could have sounded like until now. Recently, we have some theories that they would have communicated a lot like birds, where a lot of it, especially the T-Rex, it would have been closed mouth vocalization. And because of how big they would have been capable of a large voice box like what we would have. That if she were to roar, we wouldn't hear it, but we would definitely feel it.
See, and I think that was a whole point of what we hear, because, like I say, and I should mention this. It's just a little side note. I mean, the sound designer Gary Rydstrom, he searched far and wide to get that kind of sound, because he was trying to look for something, and he actually looked back in old monster films to see if he can like emulate something that would be familiar. That would this work, would this would not work. And like I say, I mentioned before, he used a baby elephant, because I could say I thought originally that was what Godzilla's sound was, his original roar. I thought that was a pretty much elephant kind of augmented a little bit, but as you find out, it was all about a rubber glove and strings on a bass. And it's like, go figure. You just never know the amount of ingenuity that brings to bringing these sounds to life, and how they become such an effective footnote for our brains to kind of be triggered when we hear them. And when we hear them, it's like, oh, that's what. And then we find out how to amaze, like,
yeah, like lettuce ripping for bones cracking and necks breaking, things like that. Yeah.
Well, it's like what they did with the Muto. Some of the Mutos noises and calls they made, it all involved a wet tire, and involved a tire, and then rubbing a balloon against that tire.
Yeah. Another one, it's just literally an old door creaking open and shut, which is then put through a lot of reverb and post-production.
And it was kind of funny because, when you see the first 2014 Godzilla, and his atomic breath powers up for the first time, he's like, now the weirdest thing about this is, at my job there's a door in the restroom where if we let it close on its own, it starts to sound like that reverberation of the power up of Godzilla's sound. I mean,
the funny thing too, with the making of that 2014 film, the only thing that's kept secret is the making of the MonsterVerse Godzilla War.
Mm-hmm.
It's literally the only thing they're keeping secret is how they did it.
And I'm glad that they did, because I mean, I can say now the MonsterVerse Godzilla Roar is up there with the rest of them. It took some time for me to get used to. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I feel that it's up there, and I'm glad.
Well, I definitely like it because it makes him sound a little bit more like a dinosaur.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when you go back to listen to some of the dinosaur sounds they did in Jurassic Park. If then you compare it to how Godzilla sounds, he's not too far off.
So, well, for me, to round this up, my number one, and somebody's mentioned it already, is that bird of prey, that fire dragon, Mr. Rodan. And I feel like he is, and it could have been Anguirus, but I feel Rodan's is more aggressive, I mean, especially when he's flying, and like I say, when you hear the sound when he's flying at Mach 1 or 2, he is like,
especially how the roar ends too. It kind of gives that phantom-like moan.
Mm-hmm.
Like, especially how the roar ends, I noticed like it has that when the phantom moan that it ends with.
See, and it's such a, like I say, that's why I say these sound effects, these roars by the studios, as I mentioned before, they took so much of what they had, because you gotta remember, they had very little. They didn't have as money as the Western world did, but they took what they thought would make the sound of these creatures memorable. And let's be honest, I mean, how could you not hear those roars and feel like, oh, that's Rodan, oh, that's Ghidra, oh, that's a Zegra, that's a Gamera, that's Betagon, that's it's like all these things, you automatically know who they are. And it's such a, like I say, it's just such a thing psychologically for us to think like, if it didn't affect us, that means that we wouldn't like them. We wouldn't like them to feel that that's necessary for them to even listen to, because it's like, oh, I'm paradising, I don't care about that. No, when we hear these sounds, it's like a breath of fresh air. It's like oh, it's like ray of sunshine kind of feel, and that's what it's supposed to be. And that's why I did this particular stream to discuss this, because what stands out the most in terms of what in any movie genre or part of it that you feel affected by this, I'm pretty sure whoever's watching will feel the same way. It's all about what is your mentality of how these things affect you and what makes you feel more drawn to them. And that's why I say top 10, because if I had done a top 20 on this, I think we want to be here too long, I think that,
right?
Yeah, I mean, you could do that, but dude, I'm telling you, we're gonna have sore butts.
We'll do part 2.
We could do part 2. That's a good point. We could do part 2, and I think we'll probably do that. That might be a good idea. In fact, I think you just gave me a good idea, Mark. And so
we could do pretty much all kaiju sound effects.
Well, we can do that, and
We can do all kinds of things. We can do anything we want. You know,
exactly, because
we're in
that's why.
Candyland. That's right.
But that's the thing about
it's like the Homelander quote: "I can do whatever the fuck I want."
right, exactly. You know, but that's the fun of this. You know, and knowing we do this, and we don't have to be judged for it. We don't have to be like put on blast saying like, "Why are you doing this, dude? This sounds so cheesy. It's so because I feel like the fuck I want to because it's my thing and I enjoy this. I'm a geek. If you don't like it, get the fuck out. You know?
Well, keep on watching. You'll learn something. No, that's good.
Exactly. That's the thing about this, and that's what I love about this. But
we're having fun, and it's like as we've talked about, and everyone feels, everyone's in touch with that inner child. It doesn't go away just because we get older. There's still the same joy. That's why I really prefer watching the English dubbed versions of the Showa movies because that's what I grew up with. I've seen all the Japanese versions and they're wonderful, but when it comes to like watching these for comfort food, that's what I'm going back to. I want to go back to my 10-year-old self, my 5-year-old self, So that's the wonderful thing about these movies. They're fun and very nostalgic and just kind of remind us of the kid inside,
And that's the wonderful thing, and that's why I say. And before we do the so-called what's coming up on your channel and all that stuff, I want to give a special shout out to a fallen kaiju fan that unfortunately passed away recently. A good friend of ours, Mark and I know him, and he was part of the and try not to get choked up saying it, but Mr. Doug Pilton, he was a kaiju fan for so long, and when I recently heard he passed away, it really hit me hard, because he was my sensei when I went to G-Fest the first time.
He's a good guy.
Yeah, he was a real good guy, and I'm just sad that because he seemed okay, at the time, but when I found out what happened to him, it's like, wow, that's I always thought I couldn't recover from it, but it let me know that how much an effect he really had. Just like we were talking about with these sound effects, people like him had an enduring effect on others, and I just want to give a shout out to him because he has a special place in my heart, and I can never repay him for what he gave me. So I just wanted to put that out.
That's a good tribute, Walter.
Yes.
Before we get out, can I ask one question?
Sure.
Everybody? Is there a sound effect that is just hilariously, awfully wonderful, like that makes you laugh every time you hear it because it's so bad, it's so good? Does anyone have anything that goes, oh, that's ridiculous, but I love it?
I have to think about it. I'll let someone else.
For me, I'll just go ahead and go to kind of maybe just help. For me, it's the green slime.
Okay.
And, because they got some different sounds, but also because Toei did that, the green slime also has some of the sounds that come from the Draculon from Johnny Sacco. And so when I heard that as a kid, I'm like, wait a minute, that's also in Johnny Sacco. But there's this kind of weird, kind of whiny, fidgety sound that they make. It's really quite funny, and it's a great trash movie. It's a wonderfully trash movie, but yeah. So anyway, anyone else? If I was
gonna say anyone else because I don't have any.
Ebra. Even though I don't particularly care for the kaiju, I couldn't help but laugh, but also cringe that its little roar and sound effect was like nails on a chalkboard. It was just like,
well, Professor.
Yeah, now this one comes from a video game. Actually, it's the first Lego Star Wars, the video game. It's really just the death sounds for the characters. Like if it's the Gonk droid, it's just this big crashing sound of debris.
Like gonk.
And that just tickles a funny bone. Then all of a sudden you have like the small characters like little Boba Fett. It's like whenever he just falls off a ledge and dies. But yeah, I think the Lego sounds because of the sheer absurdity of essentially small bits of plastic come to life in a famous IP like Indiana Jones, Batman, or even the Marvel games. The voice acting in some of them is over the top. You just gotta have fun with it. Yes, he does. He does,
Yes.
Alvin.
Funny sound, yes.
Yes, right.
And I also love they always include the Wilhelm sound in Lego games.
Right.
I absolutely love that they do have the Wilhelm sound in Lego games.
Oh my god, and that's like I say, it's not so much beat to death, but it's like it works well when it's like over the top.
Yeah.
Big Bad, you got one? Anything that sticks out that's it's just bad, but it's funny to you in a way?
I'm trying to think.
Okay. Well, while you're thinking about that, I will give mine because I mean, even Enigma kind of brought it out, and I just realized that damn condor that be fucking with Godzilla when he's attacking it. I'm like, what the hell? It's like that sound. The sound he makes like ah! It's like yeah, you about to get barbecue, bitch.
No, wait. I got another one. It's the alligator roars from the Thunderbirds episode, Attack of the Alligators.
Okay.
Because it's just absurd. Whether you can tell that they use some stock animal sound effects, but the way that they play with them, it just sounds so absurd in some cases.
Over the top.
I mean, you just got to hear it for yourself. I can't properly articulate it. You just have to hear it for yourself.
Okay. One day I might have to do that.
But it's just brilliant, though.
Oh my goodness. Well, John, do you have anything? I mean, you got that sticks out at least, or
The lights on upstairs.
Okay. Oh, that's what it's called. Lights on. No, I mean, I get it. I mean, it's that's why I say because it's like when Mark mentioned, it's like I had to really think about it. Then it's like when the Jake mentioned Everett, it's like I clicked on. It's like that damn bird.
All
like,
that makes me think of is when Kevin had a hard time saying the name Ganymede, and instead just kept calling him Ebba's ugly cousin.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's pretty much so. But that's pretty good. No, this has been a fun ride, guys. This has been such a real treat, and like I say, I'm glad you guys got a chance to have some fun with me, have this madness come to life, and it's this has been a thrill ride for me, and I'm hoping y'all had a pretty good time also, But that being said, going down the line, Mark, what do you have particularly coming up as far as on your radio show and everything? What's coming up on there?
Unsaneradio.com, and you can find us there on Facebook, or unsaneradio.com is the URL. I don't know what episode's coming up. We just had one that came out. We just did one on Zombieland.
I saw that. Yes.
Yeah, so that's us out, and we have some other fun ones coming. We're going to be reviewing some new movies, and so and then talking about horror comic books. So that's got some episodes that are going to be coming up, and then on heavy metal horror, we just released our Rodney Dangerfield bands that don't get no respect, and we've got our discussion about non-Godzilla movies from Toho coming out in a few weeks. So that will be that episode.
Cool.
So it's all good stuff, and that's at Heavy Metal Horror Podcast on Facebook and Heavy Metal Horror Podcast. There you go on YouTube.
Right. Well, if you do that non kaiju or non one, I mean, I wouldn't mind being a part of that because I mean,
you were. We did.
Oh, we were okay. That's what you're
That's
talking
the one
about.
we did. Yeah, we went through the whole Showa era.
Okay, because I was going to say
I just split it into two parts. See, that's how I got you. That's how I gave you the idea.
I got
about
you.
making that episode because I thought this is too good to cram it all in one episode. So we'll just make it.
Right.
We'll record two. So part 2 will be coming out in a few weeks. So
okay, that's why you haven't burned out two. Okay, that's
right. We put out part 1, but not part 2. Right, part 1 came out, and I kind of divvied it up. And because Billy DuBose is with us, and
Donnie Winter and
Donnie Winter is with us, and Dr. Tar from Unsane Radio,
cool.
And it's a wonderful discussion. I mean, we have such a great time going through those movies.
We did,
so,
All right. Well, Big Bad, what you got coming up as far as on your channel, sir?
Well, I had to cancel my 10 o'clock stream this morning, but next week I will be doing the finale to the base game of Maneater. Just got to find myself a guest, and then of course I'll be editing more of my gameplay I've been doing, which I'm still in Escape the Backrooms, and then of course I'll be working on part 4 to my When Stars Drown story series I've been doing on the subreddit Tales from the Creeps, in which it's all Lovecraftian cosmic horror theme.
Okay.
Nice.
Nice. Well, Mr. Professor, sir, what you have coming up on your channel, sir?
For my channel, there is nothing certain as of yet, but I do have interesting developments to share nonetheless. On the creative writing front, the radio station that I have some of my stories broadcast on last year, Ooze Valley Radio, tomorrow they're broadcasting their next episode of their original drama series, Huntsford, in which I have voiced a new character in the show, when it's scheduled to broadcast on June the 7th, which is tomorrow's date. So feel free to tune in to Ooze Valley Radio on their website or on the radio station if you're local in Britain. In terms of creative stories, I do have a lot of ideas, some of which I am developing one step at a time concurrently, so it's going to take a while. But I do have more ideas for more forms of content to bring to my channel moving forwards in the future.
Okay. Well,
Dan,
could you spell
the website where we could get that from? Because I didn't know how to get to it tomorrow.
Oh yeah, it's Ooze Valley Radio. It's called. That's OUSE, as in River Ooze, and then Valley, as it sounds, VALLEY, and Radio, and it should say underneath it, the sound of Huntingdonshire.
Great, thank you.
To me, I'm going to say, I'm hoping they do you right, because you, like I say, you're doing the voice of something and you're narrating. It's like, okay, it's time to give this man his due, please give this man his due. All right.
Oh, they do. They definitely do.
All right. I'm just saying. I'm like what you call a father figure. I'm just like, okay, my son deserves to get, some credit here. Get that to him, please. All right. I don't know why you're gonna feel the wrath of the father come down on you like a Thor's hammer here. So anyway, but Jake, I know you don't necessarily have anything as far on your channel, but is there anything planned in your future as far as anything new or exciting coming up?
I know I'm going to be on another stream, but I don't remember which one it is. I think it's the Kevin's the Kronos.
Coming up Friday, which I'll be on too. Yes.
Yeah, because I finally watched that. I know I'm going to be on there. I know I'm on others, but I just can't remember which ones I was going to be a part of at the moment. But other than that, yeah, I'm just waiting on some orders that I've ordered.
Okay.
What's your website? Or you have a podcast, Enigma? Do you have a show or a channel?
No, I don't.
That's Kevin for you, though. Yeah, hey, you gotta love him for what he is. He is who he is. That's the thing. Well, as
he
far
stays
as
true to himself, and that's all that matters.
That's all that matters, and that's what I say. You gotta love a person who's real with themselves. That's the thing. As far as me, I got something coming up from mentioned Mr. Kevin Lambert. Me and him are going to be discussing one of Steven Seagal's best films, Executive Decision. And if you watch the film, you'll realize why it's one of his best films. It's not exactly. Let's see. Okay, well, you know what? I'll leave that alone. Anyway,
Here we go.
Jake already mentioned.
Hell nah.
I'm not gonna put that up. No, as Jake had mentioned, me and him are going to be joining Kevin on Friday, talking about a film that's very underrated. It's a B50s classic, Chronos, and I feel like me and the professor have discussed it before on mine channel, but we're discussing it on his
really
channel.
Good movie, yeah.
It is actually pretty. It's like I say, it's a very underrated film. I don't think it, but I guess people like me have been bringing it to the surface because I've noticed the view count on that stream that me and Professor did is increased. It's like, wow, somebody's actually watching this, So
Great
anyway,
that's always nice, right? When someone watches it, like, hey,
look,
people watching it.
I mean, look, I didn't make them. I mean, they insisted in me, but hey, if they like it, so be it.
Hey, even if no one watched it, the fact that we're doing it and having a good time, that's what matters,
And that's why I say I don't I say I'm not looking for all that recognition. I'm just looking for
fun time with friends.
There
exactly.
You go.
I mean, we should be making $1 million an episode, and that's fine. Someone needs to just chip in so our Patreon fans can just pitch in and help pay for that.
Okay, now. And I'm gonna tell you right now, Mark, you're living in a dream world with that.
Not with that attitude.
Look, if I don't do Patreon, it's gonna be OnlyFans, and I don't want to do that anymore.
I mean,
they're saying, look, I will pay you $5 to put your shirt back on. I'm like, okay, that's
there you go.
I got a new way to do it.
Yeah, they're gonna be paying us to take our clothes off. They're paying us to put our clothes back on.
Put them back on, please. Yes,
that's right. It's more blackmail. I'm threatening. Like, look, I'll do it. Give me $10 or I'll do it.
Give me $10. Yes, yes.
Now, as a note about Chronos, who noticed years later on that music from Chronos was used in the Gigantis edit of Godzilla Raids Again?
I would have noticed that until I actually saw the film itself. I mean, when I first originally see Chronos, that's when it hit me. It's like, that's where that's from? It's like, it was a big surprise because nothing was on paper. Nothing was on, anything in written saying that the music that's used in Gigantis, the fire-breathing monster, that music is from Chronos. No one said that. No one mentioned that. I was like, how are you not going to mention that? You hijacked this music to put it in this, and you don't say nothing? It's like, come on now. How's that doing? But no, besides that, then this coming next Saturday, hopefully Professor will be joining me talking about Outland that stars Sean Connery and was it Peter Boyle, which is a sci-fi version of High Noon, which that's another film I don't think gets enough, talk about, so, but other than that, I'm going to leave that there because, like I say, I got other things coming out, but I figure like I'll wait because, like I say, I want to keep the mystery alive.
There you go.
So keeping that there. But gentlemen, this has been a fun ride. This has been a fun take. I'm just glad you had a chance to get on the gondola with me doing this because, like I say, not a lot of people would be interested in doing this. I mean, yes, you're a kaiju fan. You love this stuff. You collect figures, you collect memorabilia, whatever, but go deep into the psychological thinking of some things and say, well, besides the figures, besides all this, besides all that, what do you like about the things that you collect? What do you like about it? And this is one of those things that just sparked in my mind. I say, hopefully someone else can, join up with me and talk about it, and thankfully y'all did that. And people who were in the comments joined me with talking about it. And I can't thank y'all enough for being here for me, so I appreciate that.
Well, thank you for inviting me. Yes. I appreciate it. And I think you have some of the most interesting topics that I've ever discussed on a podcast. When you first told me about this one, I go Kaiju Wars. I'm like, what the hell are you thinking, man? I'm like, what a great topic, because I never would have thought about doing something like that, you know.
Right.
So I just think it's great that you're making us look at these movies in different ways and coming to appreciate them in different ways, different layers. And so I've really appreciated hearing all you guys and listening to all your monsters, you know, the sound effects and why they were meaningful to you. I love seeing the passion that you all bring to this, and that's what makes it fun. Like I kept on like smiling and nodding because I'm like my cheeks are hurting. It's like, oh, this has been so much fun. So no, I'm just glad. Yeah, it's been a great time. So I'll come back anytime and hang out with you guys. Or if you guys want to just get together over Zoom and we'll watch a movie or something, that'd be great too.
That'll be great. Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Or even do a Jackbox Games night.
Yes, I have Jackbox Games on my computer too.
So do I. I have it on my PC.
Nice. Yes, let's do that. Jackbox Games.
I brought up that idea in the group chat a while ago. Like, it'd be fun if we all just shot the shit on Friday or Saturday night. We just played Jackbox.
Yeah, some of those are wonderful.
All right.
My favorite is Survive the Internet.
So survive the internet. Oh, like we can't do that now. Survive the internet. So much crap.
Yeah. That's a really fun Jackbox game.
Okay. Well, closing out, gentlemen. Like I say again, thank you again. Thank you, people in the comments. And like I say, you'll see me again soon because, like I say, I got something coming up tomorrow. But other than that, as I always close, as I always do this, you know, y'all take care. Y'all please be patient. And as I always say, keep the kaiju love alive. So until then, bye-bye.
Peace out, Girl Scouts.
Yeah.